Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I want to come and talk to you guys about Mercury Retrograde, which has once again kind of snuck up on me, but at least we caught it 3 days before. So, Mercury will be going into retrograde on March the 14th, lasting until April the 7th, and this is for 2025. Okay. Now, a lot of my cards came up very much in just what do you call that? Came up in pretty much in alignment with the dates. Um, so I'm gonna give you guys the messages that I got: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Now, just to let you guys know about Mercury retrograde, I do look at things from some astrology points, but I go based upon my intuition. And so Mercury retrograde to me is a time where you can work on shadow work. I think is a great time. I think it's also a great time to reclaim any of your power. It's a good time for spell work, excellent time for spell work. It's a good time to work on past life issues, karmics, karmic family, karmic friends. If you want to go back in this life and change something, okay? Because, things that people can do to you can have gravity. I've seen things that have happened to people in their childhood just literally dictate the rest of their life. You can tell. And so there are times when some people are trying to have so much gravity and put so much weight on you, um, that I think that it is such a powerful time to go back and reconcile the past. And I'm not talking about reconciliation like love reconciliation, even though love spell work is going to be powerful during that time. Is particularly love reunions are excellent during Mercury retrograde, believe it or not. What I'm talking about, however, is when there has been a event or series of events that has set you on a path or either created circumstances in your life that you want to see improve very quickly. And I'm talking about very quickly. Okay. So it's a very powerful time that we're getting ready to come up on. However, I got some things that I need to talk to y'all about. So the very first card that came out in my reading is the Five of Pentacles in the upright position. I just asked, what messages do you want me to give to the world about this Mercury retrograde coming up on March the 14th? And the first card is the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles for me is always the church. It's always the church. Okay. In fact, it typically will have a photograph of a church, unless you have more of a modern deck, you know. But typically, the Five of Pentacles is connected to me, for me. Okay. It's connected to the church. Now, for some reason, whenever I come on here and I talk about that, It's a difficult subject matter for a lot of people. And I don't understand why. Because if you're on this channel, you should be somewhat interested in the left hand path. The left hand path is, to me, not a negative thing. Okay. But I think that it means something different to everybody. Everybody has their own definition of what they see the left hand path as and what it means to them. Okay. So to me, that Five of Pentacles is a warning for people. And I've been saying it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Do not, okay. I would not suggest buying into these organizations or ministries that are encouraging some kind of unification of all of the spiritual faiths. I think this is a huge mistake, and I think it's an agenda. I think it's a trap. In fact, I know it's a trap. Hey, Stefan, good morning. I'm going to get into that, okay? Mainstream media, though, is going to be very negative about Mercury retrograde. I look at it from a different perspective, but I do speak about the good and the bad. Okay. So probably today I am going to do some readings on TikTok as far as how Mercury retrograde is going to affect each zodiac sign. Okay. So I'll do that. I'll try to do that. I'll try to get all of them done because I'm usually very busy. Um, Back to what I was talking about. I am urging anybody that has been abused via religion, anybody that disagrees with religion, to be very careful with that, because I feel it's a trap, this whole unification, because guess what? The Bible says it clearly. It says witchcraft, fortune telling, psychics, banned. If you go and you join a church that is ran by some kind of Christian organization, all of a sudden you are a part of their congregation, which means that you leave yourself wide open to spiritual attacks, this punishment, these various punishments, which, let's keep it real, most people have not read the Bible front to back. So you don't know what all is in there. Okay? In fact, most people that contact me for readings, they will have a whole slew of major problems along with emotional issues, lack of clarity, lack of hope, and they will say that that they do have a Bible, or that they believe in the Bible, or they try to follow the Bible, but most of them don't know what all is in it. Okay. So, so I don't have trust in them. I don't, because my entire life, all I've had is religious people being abusive, being abused by religious people, and being traumatized by religion. So, you know, and and then even in my adult life, being shunned, being judged, being mocked, okay, by religious people who don't have a clue about my spiritual beliefs, actually. So I feel like the reason why this card is connected with Venus, I feel like the reason why this card came up is a warning for people to watch out, to protect yourself from overzealous religions and then other practices that use the Bible. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't practice hoodoo, but I do know a little bit about it. And I know the manner of which people use hoodoo, use the Bible for their hoodoo. And I'm not going to discuss it. It's something you would have to contact me about because it's a lot. And, so, and it's important to protect yourself. And you can protect yourself utilizing the Bible, but by not necessarily going by it and getting all of the punishment, because words have power, those spirits have power, in my opinion. And for me, instead of being in denial about it, what I decided to do was figure out a way to protect me and my loved ones from it. Okay. So be careful when using it for any spell work, is all I got to say. Okay. Now, the next card that comes up is the Nine of Cups. This card is connected to Neptune. Very beautiful card. Peace and happiness and joy and fulfillment. I'm going to check out and see what Venus and Neptune is going to be doing, because obviously there's going to be a lot of space and opportunity. I feel like the universe is saying, I love you with that card. It's beautiful. I love the Nine of Cups. It's just a very peaceful, very serene place to be. You're satisfied. You're feeling good. It's a very powerful healing card because Neptune is associated with healing. It is also associated with not necessarily the occult, but magic and miracles. So there's going to be a lot of space and opportunity for miracles. Then we've got the Hanged Man in the inverted position is the next card, which is also connected with Neptune. Okay, so that card is Neptune, the Hanged Man. That concerns me. That's where the problem starts to come in, because anytime you get the Nine of Cups and then you get the Hanged Man, I feel like the Hanged Man is where a lot of people are going to be looking at certain situations that it's time for them to move forward from. However, they're being held back. There's something being done, some kind of energy being done. And then also the Hanged Man for me, okay, is a representation of a sacrifice. In fact, that card in the in the inverted position strangely resembles the crucifixion of Christ when it's in the when it's in the inverted position. So I feel like this is where the BS comes in. This is where the BS comes in. This is where it's almost like the chosen one, the sacrifice, the scapegoat. So I feel like during this time, there are a lot of people, because during Mercury retrograde, I feel like it is important to protect yourself from negative karma. But what this card is telling me is that you need to be careful with protecting yourself from other people's negative karma. Because negative karma, if you have it, it can be transmuted. Okay. You don't hear too many people on YouTube talking about transmutation of energy. It's all over the place on TikTok. But on YouTube, it's like a dirty secret or something. It's weird. Okay. I feel like that's where the issue comes in. And then also, what I'm getting from spirit is spell work being done to purposely just kind of, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Let me push that off on somebody else. Does that work? Absolutely, especially if somebody is using the Bible. And I think that that is what makes that religion very, very seductive to a lot of people. People are seduced by not having to take responsibility for their own actions, for the mistakes that they had made. People love that. It's very um, seductive for them to not have to deal. And unfortunately, that's what happens. In fact, there's a whole book of it in the Bible. So I think that Spirit wanted us to look at that and for people to pay attention to that. Okay. Now, the next card that comes up is the Six of Pentacles in the upright position, which the Six of Pentacles, for me, yes, it is a positive card because it's either about receiving monies, help, charity, or it's about giving it. Okay. It depends on the surrounding cards. It depends. The card after the Six of Pentacles. So I feel like the reason why that Six of Pentacles comes up is because I feel like there's a lot of people that, like, for example, if you're into spell work, you're going to be reclaiming your energy. This card is connected to Saturn. A lot of you guys are going to be seeking justice. In the Rider Waite deck that I use, the man that's handing out the coins to the people, he is holding scales in his hands. So I feel like this card for me is a lot more than what people think, especially with the surrounding cards. For me, this card represents the need to reclaim your power. Okay, this is when you've been put in a position, whether or not it's been your entire life or for a little while, you've been put in a position to need help, or maybe you've been put in a position to provide help that you may not want to give. You may not you you may not want to give your energy to someone else that you feel doesn't deserve it. Okay? The next card that comes up is the Page of Cups, but it's in the inverted position, which is a warning to me after that Six of Pentacles. I feel like this is where I feel like Page of Cups in the inverted position is bad news, miscommunication. Okay. Going back to the Hanged Man card, that is a very spiritual card. To me, it's almost comparable to the Magician, as well as the Hierophant, as well as the High Priestess. Page of Cups is connected to the Moon. So, this is very emotional energy. So, I feel like a lot of people are going to have to watch out for, especially empaths. Empaths really need to watch out for being scapegoated on as well as exploited. Seven of Cups in the upright position is after the Page of Cups, inverted, which is confusion, delusion, illusions, lies, scandals, um, blocks, feeling like you're being blocked from what you desire, feeling like you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and it's just not going anywhere. and then wondering why. What is going on? Why? So the Strength card comes up next in the inverted position. To me, is a representation of not being in control of your own thoughts, your own mind. I can definitely see a lot of fuckery. Then also, I feel like it's symptoms. I feel like that's low energy. Again, when Mercury goes into retrograde, spell work and things of that nature seems to be intensified and happens a lot faster in my experience. And I feel like that's protection. I feel like that's lack of protection. There used to be a time when a simple quartz crystal would protect a person or people. Um, it is a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like spirit guides is saying that a lot of people need to strengthen their protection. And then also a lot of you guys need to because it's directly up underneath the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man also is reminiscent of um, a gang stalking victim. I feel like there's going to be a lot of energy harvesting as well as destiny swapping during Mercury retrograde. And I always warn you guys about Wednesdays is when they start up, and they're just going and going and going and going and going all the way until Sunday. So I think that a lot of people need to be careful. I feel like I feel like the 14th is going to be sort of like this day of like, oh, okay, well, it ain't that bad. But then I feel like that Five of Pentacles is where on the 15th, a bunch of craziness is going to ensue. Or either stuff is being thrown out there. Something is going to happen. I don't want to say something's going to happen like a world event. No. But like, I feel like I need to check that date and see where the moon is going to be and why date is being chosen somehow. But I just see the fifth. I just see the 15th. Next to the Strength card inverted is the Magician card in the upright position. A lot of spell work, a lot of manipulation is going to be going on. Oh, by the way, the Strength card is connected to the Sun, which is also connected to the third eye. Um, and so a lot of you guys need to be mindful. In fact, I'm going to, like, I already decided that I'm going to start doing what I used to do, which was some kind of third eye protection. I did it with my whole family. Like when my little one was like 3 years old, he was walking around with a little brown dot on in the middle of his forehead. Like I would just literally put a brown dot in between my children's brow area. So I feel like that's going to be important. But the Magician to me is enlightenment. It is connected to Mercury. It's all about enlightenment. So I do feel that there are a lot of people that are going to be using a lot of spell work during Mercury retrograde, and that also a lot of people need to wake up and smell the coffee as far as what's going on. I feel like a lot of people need to feel like that card is saying which the Ace of Swords in the inverted position is the next card after the Magician. I said magician, connected to Venus. The Ace of Swords is Venus. A lot of people, like, for example, I see a lot of people, and, even sometimes my loved ones, that they don't believe in that. And I think possibly the reason why they say that is because they're afraid, and they may be having trust issues even with me. But I don't harm people close to me. I protect people close to me, okay? And the people that I love. So, but I think that is where a lot of people are going to have to get real about the situation. Even if you don't believe in magic and spirits, you need to start paying attention to energy at least. And I feel like the Magician is Mercury, is Hermes saying, you need to wake up and smell the coffee and see what world you live in, and realize that that's the world that you live in. Everything about your world has been either manipulated or created by magic, period. And that is connected to God and the universe and all things. Okay. So just be mindful of that. Ace of Swords in the inverted position. I feel like that next to the Page of Wands inverted is a lot of negativity. It's a lot of negativity. That apparently someone is benefiting from. That Magician could be anybody to you. It could be an enemy. It could be the president. It could be anybody that is in some kind of position of power. I feel like it's going to be a lot. Like, I don't understand why the negativity is so important and the trauma. So I feel like I'm seeing a lot of negativity, a lot of bad things in the news, things that are going to um, it's going to trigger a lot of emotions and a lot of anger. Yeah. And of course, the people create the news. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of negativity. This is possibly looking at the entire retrograde, because after the Page of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles comes up, and it is in the upright position, which is also connected to Venus. It's either Venus or Saturn. I believe Venus. Seven of Pentacles is Venus. So that must be April the 7th. I feel like that's April the 7th. So that's like the end of Mercury retrograde. It's going to be a lot of confusing things going on. A lot that's going to set people off emotionally. I feel like the spirit is saying, please grab a hold of your emotions. Try to make peace with the things that you cannot change in this world, but then focusing on the things that you can change, because you have the power to change your situation. Some people are so empathic that they will literally go into like this depressive state. And then also I feel like the Ace of Swords is like the evil eye or something. I feel like it's mind control. I see a lot of people under mind control and depression. The Seven of Pentacles comes up. I feel like it's the end of the retrograde. So definitely something's manifesting. Next to that, the Six of Cups comes up, and that's the last card that I threw, which is connected to the sun, planetarily is associated with the sun. And I feel that that is looking at the past. The magician is definitely saying, because it's directly above the Six of Cups, is that um, past life work is going to be needed. People need to stop avoiding it. And then when you look straight down the line, Six of Pentacles upright, the magician upright, Six of Cups upright. People, for some reason, when I talk about past life, it kind of weirds them out. Like it's like this weird feeling. And past life is not just always about bad things. Past life can be good things also. So, and a lot of you guys are going to need strength to get through this Mercury retrograde. It's going to be maddening, judging by that Page of Wands inverted. Feel like a lot of people are going to have a pretty good outcome, but I feel like if you're unprotected, you're not actually doing the work. Part of the work that is Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is connected directly to past lives and past life karma, along with Saturn, but Mercury especially. Obviously, if you're doing any kind of past life work, you want to work with someone that knows what they're doing, that knows how to keep you grounded. And because to me, past life work is an example of shadow work. It's one of the things that goes along with shadow work. And I think that with all of the trauma that we have endured, like as a civilization, people are like, I can't deal with that. I can't. But in my humble opinion, you have to, because it does provide so many rewards. Like you just really never know what is in your past life. That maybe you have to deal with, and that's the good and the bad. Now, one thing I can tell you is that there's the South Node, which is connected according to Vedic astrology with two malefic planets that are shadow planets. And I feel like all of these energies, Venus, Neptune, even Neptune's moons, Saturn, the moon, Neptune's moons, I already said that, the sun, Mercury, definitely Mercury. Venus again comes up, Mars, Venus again, and then the sun. I feel like those particular energies are going to be extremely helpful. But how do you actually work with those in energies? How do you work with them? How do you actually work with the energy of the planets, with them being billions of miles away? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that some people know how to actually, you know. Um, so I feel like a lot of you guys really need to buckle down. Okay. You need to buckle down with it. And that's if you're interested in things like that. If you're not, then just go live your life. But, if you're into things like that, do something that will elevate your understanding and your consciousness, so that it can bring about some kind of enlightenment to you. Um, like I said, in that Seven of Cups, Page of Cups, again, for some reason, people start to lie a lot. I definitely do see people not being focused, like what Stefan Harris said. Um, but I mean, that could be psychosomatic for a lot of people, because with me, when it comes to Mercury retrograde, I take Mercury retrograde as an opportunity. I love Mercury retrograde because it is so powerful when it is moving backwards, or if it's given the illusion that it's moving backwards, right? So, it depends on your perspective and looking at it. If you look at mainstream, Google is going to tell you, and I do see a lot of lies and deception and illusions being painted, a lot of glamour being casted. And so a lot of you guys really need to protect your relationships. People in good relationships may all of a sudden start arguing. Um, things may get very heated, and you just don't want to let those things escalate. You know, And part of the reason why those things are going to be escalated is because of spell work and things of that nature being done. So I feel like the strength card is a very, very strong warning that a lot of people need to work on their protection. Okay. Protection from all is so much out there. For those of you that are religious, it's not that I'm saying that your gods don't protect you, but I feel like religious people could serve themselves better if they stop getting into trouble and quit being so negative towards other people. I think that that's where a lot of them get into trouble. I think that, and some people like trouble. I don't like trouble. I like to be the nine of cups. I like to be the 10 of cups. I don't like I don't like drama and trauma. It's way too much. It's very oversaturated. It really is. It's not, yeah, no, that's not the way people are supposed to live. And I also feel like the Page of Cups is a warning about the heart chakra too. I feel like a lot of people really need to pay attention to their heart chakra. I feel like a lot of people need to start paying attention and taking it seriously. Pretty much the same teachings and principles that I teach are the same as like Ayurvedic, holistic type of healing and understanding of the mind, body, and the spirit. And like, it's so many people that are not, they just want to pop a pill and keep it moving. And that's your choice. Please don't bother people that are doing something different. Let those people be in peace, because when you have peace in your spirit and you have peace in your soul, more than likely you're going to have peace in your heart. So that is my message. And then I'm also going to plug my protection. I have excellent protection. And I'm thinking about running a special on it as far as a down payment. So you guys can contact me about that if you want the full protection, if it's affordable for you. If it's not, then we can work out some kind of plan of action, especially if you guys are being compromised or either what they call chosen. I hate that. Don't choose me. Mm-mm. Nope. I pretty much chose myself. Okay, that's the way I feel that people should be. Personally, you don't have to be that way because you know, but that's just how I am. I don't want to be the chosen one. Okay. So, just be careful out there because um, witchcraft and spells is very real, and malefic spell work, to me, sometimes is necessary, but then a lot of times it's being done unjustly and unnecessarily, and it's not going to serve you at all. You should not be dealing with any kind of black magic, things of that nature. that does not serve you. If the black magic is serving you and your purpose as like a defense or something like that, because I think that people that are bothersome, troublesome, and problematic, I believe that those people definitely do deserve some kind of consequences for their actions. Because otherwise, if there's no consequences, they won't stop. And I'm not talking about according to the Bible. I'm talking about according to, are you bothering other people? Are you trespassing on other people? Are you impeding on someone else? Or are you doing harm to someone else? That's what I'm talking about. Because I feel that people that are not bothering other people should not be bothered. They should be just allowed to live their life. Now, there are some people that discovered their magic early on by the discovery of hexes and curses, but it should not be the total experience forever. It should not be that. It shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, that should not be your life. If you are exploring witchcraft, magic, you know, spirituality, you should not be harassed or shamed for it. I don't agree with that, especially when you're not harming anybody. And no, I want to talk about unintentional harm versus intentional harm. The only example of unintentional harm is when an innocent is affected by a conjured spirit or energy that may affect that person because the people around you are not being protected from those malevolent spirits. Intentional harm is somebody that is intentionally causing harm, period, to another person. So the only way you're doing it unintentional is people that don't know. Okay. Those are what I consider to be the innocents because I would never force somebody. In fact, there's a lot of people that they're just not into witchcraft. They're just not, and I can't expect all of those people to be into it or to know about it. But if they're going to be around me and in my vicinity, then I want them to be protected. Why? Because if somebody's throwing something at me, I don't want it to jump in that person and use them as a vessel. So that's my wisdom on that. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's going to be around me, they're going to have to be protected. And that's fine by me because it's really not that difficult for me. Okay. Because this is all I do all day, every day anyway. So it would be nothing to spend 15, 20 minutes, you know, working on protection. My protection has defense. It also has healing and grounding, as well as it helps a lot tremendously with manifestation. Okay. So you guys may want to get with me about that. I've been coming at you guys a little bit at the last minute, and I don't know, when you come to me, lack of money for those of you that, because I understand there's a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck. But then again, there's a lot of people that are not. But then again, it's got to be something. Like, I feel like you need to be proactive with something instead of just letting things get worse and worse because things can stick to you. You know what I'm saying? I kind of do feel like things are going to kind of settle down. You know how, like, when you see like a Wild Wild West movie and, they're like, kicking up dust and stuff and it's flying everywhere and everybody fighting and it's a gunfight and all that stuff and it's all kind of stuff and then everything calms down. But when it comes to spirituality and witchcraft, when those things are being conjured up, when that energy is being rising, when that energy is rising, there's an intention. And when that dust settles, at that point, you're just waiting for manifestation to happen at that point. Okay. Also, I want to warn you guys about malevolent spirits um, causing problems on the job, possibly. Um, and, that's not good. But mainly what I'm seeing is just, I see the good and I see, because, this is, I just laid out, what was this, 12 cards for 8, 12. Yeah. I laid out 12 cards and, but it could be different for different people. So, you know, and I think that a lot of you guys should look at this as a positive thing instead of looking at everything negatively. Because, like I said, I love Mercury retrograde, and I can't wait for it. I'm literally gunning for it. We're already in the pre-shadow phases, and what I've noticed is that my I noticed that I just really get deep into my work. Like sometimes I wish that Mercury retrograde would just stay that way sometimes because it's so powerful when it comes to even meditation is more powerful. So, you know, that's pretty much my message. If you guys have any questions, you guys can contact me for a confidential reading and like an analysis. I do specialize in past life work, past life regressions, not just the regressions, but past life empowerment. Um, but then also, as far as with like planetary alchemy, because it is very powerful. And you will see a vast improvement in your life. Yes, you will. Okay. Oh, one more thing. I feel like a lot of people need to watch out for legal problems possibly being created. So I would say stay away from hinky people that are just like, just all over the place type of people. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there is nothing more irritating than me to see a bunch of people like in an uproar that just can't calm themselves down to the point where the popo got to be called. That just, to me, is just silly. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's it. Make sure y'all follow me on TikTok, okay? Because I'm going to put some readings up. In fact, I think I'm going to get some done now or maybe a little bit later. I don't know. Depends. All right. Okay. Just look for High Priestess Jamila and you'll see me. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Have a good Tuesday. Bye.